This is CBS.
Coming up on the late edition of the Newspeople, not in my backyard, some local residents fight to keep a prison out of their town. Also tonight, a Northwest Arkansas youngster is lucky to be alive tonight after a BB gun accident resulted in a fire. And could you be the target of a scam? Yes, it could happen.
And I'll have your St. Patty's Day forecast and a look at a weekend that might start off rainy.
Boo. In sports, Arkansas takes its first step on the road to the Final Four. The late edition is next.
Kraft introduces side dishes with a difference.
Look what Kraft is cooking. Ooh, side dishes. Mama passed it over. So delicious.
Introducing potatoes, rice, and pasta dishes that feature real Kraft cheese. The only pasta salads with real dressing in the box.
We know what makes you hungry. We got what it takes. Oh, what a difference. Kraft makes.
New Kraft side dishes. Real Kraft cheeses and dressings. Oh, what a difference.
One of these can take you from 0 to 60,000 feet in just over 90 seconds. One of these can take you from 0 to total excitement in no time. One of these can cost you about $50 million. One of these less than $11,000. One of these less than $9,000. If you like to fly, one of these birds should be in your hangar. The '89 Pontiac Firebird or the '89 Pontiac Sunbird. Yes, the birds are back at Harry Robinson Pontiac, Ft.Smith Pontiac, and Jim Ray Pontiac.
KFSM-TV 5 in Ft.Smith and Fayetteville. With news for western Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. This is the late edition of the Newspeople. Sponsored by First America.
Residents of eastern Oklahoma win their battle to block a prison construction project in their communities. Good evening, I'm Kevin Bowman. Thanks for joining us tonight. A mob crowded into the Fort Gibson City Hall tonight, ready to fight against a proposed minimum security prison that was slated for a piece of land just south of Fort Gibson. But the announcement took the wind out of their sails. The Department of Corrections sent a letter to the meeting that was read at the meeting, and the letter stated the department has dropped its bid to use the 455 acres of former state park land. The federal government officially owns it. Now these people have to decide what to do with it.
This area is just, it's incredible, and I tell you, it's going to be a fabulous opportunity for Fort Gibson.
The land is considered a prime for tourist development. In fact, the State Department of Tourism may apply for a use permit soon. The crowd divided up into committees late this evening to decide exactly what course to take now. A Springdale boy barely escaped death tonight when his mobile home was gutted by fire. According to the Springdale fire captain, the boy shot a can of paint with a BB gun. The paint was lying next to the trailer's hot water heater, and when the child went to pick up the can, the heater ignited the spilled paint. The boy managed to escape the fire unharmed, but the trailer is a complete loss. The fire happened shortly before 6 tonight at the Billy Sanders residence. He was not home at the time of the fire. For a while, firefighters feared the fire would spread to adjoining houses, but luckily it was contained before that happened. Ask anyone living out in the country, they've probably worried about emergencies. Far from a nearby hospital and miles away from a fire station, what can you do when an accident happens? Anna Lux joins us now to tell us Crawford County's Rural Fire Department is ready for calls, but some people don't know their number. Anna?
Kevin, it's slowing down the chances they have of putting out fires. The fire department urges everyone in the outstretches of Crawford County to learn their number. One family knew it, but they still lost their home. Charred remains, a few items saved, and the family pet. That's all the Averys have left after this fire.
There's the results. They kept the building burning, and they done all they could do, but, I mean, no hard feelings against them. They done what they could.
Crawford County's Rural Fire Department stepped over the county line to Sequoia County. The volunteers worked as hard as firefighters at a full-time job. In a bigger city, the fire trucks might take only minutes to meet your call, but out here, far from town, the volunteer fire department is begging people to memorize their number.
We could get people to understand this number and give it to us first, then we can be on the response a whole lot quicker.
The Averys knew who to call, but their home still burned to the ground. They'll start over, but only after a few tears are shed.
If you'd like to help the Avery family, a trust fund is already set up. You can call 918-962-3826. They'd appreciate any help that you can give them. Also, 474-8000 is the number to call if you have a fire and live in the remote areas of Crawford County. Calling that number first is one of the quickest ways to summon help when you need it.
Couple of questions tonight. Did they have insurance?
They did.
That's good.
They're lucky in that regard.
There seems to be confusion about who do you call if you're loud in the country and you have a fire. Who do you call to get there quickest?
Well, many people would think call the nearest city, and in this case with Crawford County, maybe call Van Buren. But that is not the case. In fact, if you call Van Buren, that actually slows the chances down of getting the rural fire department there, because then they call the sheriff's department, which then needs to relay the message to the rural fire department. Call the rural fire department first, 474-8000.
Remember that number. Thank you. The con men are out there. The police are on the chase. Up next, Galen Culver will have a report on the scams that make people angry. Stay with us.
It's tax season again. At First America, our customers know that there's still an IRA tax shelter for everyone. At First America, an IRA may still give you a tax deduction and will defer the tax on interest until retirement. And we even have self-directed IRAs for the independent-minded at First America Federal Savings Bank.
First America Federal Savings Bank.
You know what makes Sonic really unique? Freshness. Unlike most other fast food restaurants, we prepare your order fresh every time. That means your Sonic burger, coney, steak sandwich, onion rings, and fries are fixed just the way you like them. Like Sonic's famous extra long cheese coney smothered with zesty chili, cheese, and chopped onions with a medium soft drink at a special low price.
Faster and better than ever. Sonic.
Get the new car price break you deserve. Now at Jim Ray Isuzu, your price break headquarters. Now at Jim Ray Isuzu, drive a tough, rugged Isuzu truck for only $99 a month. $99 a month for an '89 Isuzu pickup. Or buy a new iMark 3-door hatchback. Only $99 a month. Sale price just $69.90. For unbeatable rock-bottom prices, see Jim Ray Isuzu, your Isuzu price break headquarters.
A group in Madison County is trying to prove that a dump cannot and should not be built there. As Brian Shipman reports, the group is gathering geological data to shut down a proposed landfill before the first bag of trash enters the county.
They call themselves SOAR, short for Save Our Resources. Recently, when the group learned of plans to build a county landfill near Crosses, they started taking steps to stop it. They say their best weapon against the landfill are the creeks that run next to the proposed site.
It's going to pollute our wells, our drinking water. The water you see running by right here eventually runs into the White River, which is behind us, and it's going to Beaver Lake, and it ends up in everybody's drinking water.
Newberry says those who plan to build the landfill will next perform a perk test to see if it would pollute the environment. But he says his group will hire a geologist of their own and hopefully beat them to the punch, proving the 1,300-acre site could do severe damage. Now that 1,300 acres starts just over this bluff near Highway 16. It runs along the top of this mountain south for just about 2 miles, and then eventually runs into the border of the Ozark National Forest, which is located down in this valley. But that area is not the only one SOAR is concerned with. They say they plan to fight all other proposed landfills the same way they are fighting this one. They admit the solid waste problem is a major one and believe landfills can work, but only if you recycle first and then remove all toxic waste. Reporting from Madison County, I'm Brian Shipman for the Newspeople.
Brian says SOAR will hold a strategy meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the St. Paul High School cafeteria. You've heard the saying, there's one born every minute, right? Well, if you ask a con man, he'll most likely agree with that. Ft.Smith police were hot on the trail of a couple of con men this afternoon. They didn't catch them, but then again, no one got conned either. But as Galen Culver tells us, the con game continues.
It's never an easy thing to admit you've been had, but last year the people of Ft.Smith were taken for more than $50,000 by an old con game called the Pigeon Drop. And those are just the people who reported it to police. Investigators say there's a lot more people out there just too embarrassed to admit they've been conned.
The real basis that makes it work is gullibility first, and the other one is greed, getting something for nothing.
There are countless variations, but here's basically how it works. The pigeon is the victim, lured in by a so-called nice guy. Hey, bud, come here. Yeah, you. Come here.
Most of the people who perform these type of acts are good actors, and they're very charming, and they appear to be quite trustworthy, and a lot of times they can get their victims to fall for it.
Now, the pigeon is hooked when a second member of the con team shows up and says, hey, I found this bag full of money. And the three of you agree to split it. But here's the catch. As a show of good faith, the two con men ask you to give them some of your hard-earned cash as a sort of deposit on the money they've asked you to hold. Okay, now you're really hooked. You've given your money to total strangers, and what do you have to show for it? Bag full of money? No. Bologna and cheese on wheat. Your money, the bag full of money, and the people who conned you are now long gone. It happens here, and sometimes it can happen to the best of us. In Fort Smith, I'm Galen Culver reporting for the Newspeople.
Sergeant Stevenson says there were a total of 11 pigeon drop cases reported in the city last year. Most of those cases are still unsolved. Corey's up next with the forecast. Things are looking good for St. Patty's Day. Stay with us.
This portion of the news sponsored by First America.
Dear MediSav employees, I just thought I'd take time to say thanks for being there when we needed you the most. Like the winter night, Todd's fever couldn't wait till morning. Like the hot summer day, he discovered gravity the hard way. Like every time Grandma needs home care.
For keeping our family healthy in the past and in the future. Thanks, MediSav. You've been a true friend. That's what it's all about.
The savings continue this week at your Ft.Smith, Van Buren Safeway stores during the Safeway Anniversary Sale. Get great savings on tender boneless chuck roast, all meat, no waste, and USDA choice, of course. On sale at $1.49 a pound. Buy 2-liter bottles of Coke or Diet Coke for only 79 cents each. Sweet, juicy nibbled oranges are priced right at 10 for $1. Check this price on Kodak 35mm VR 124 exposure film, just $2.69 a roll. And register to win a GE clothes dryer when you shop the Safeway Anniversary Sale.
Tonight's weather sponsored by Breeden Dodge.
Breeden Dodge, Doug's Chrysler Center, and Hot Springs Chrysler Plymouth Dodge invite you to come to the Savings Zone. Special savings on factory sale cars. You'll find 7-year, 70,000-mile transferable warranties, sales tax paid, and as low as 8.7% financing over 48 months. And at Breeden Dodge, you'll find it easy to drive away in a beautiful 1989 Dodge Dynasty, a 1988 Dodge Shadow, or a 1988 Dodge D100 pickup. Breeden Dodge, the little cheaper dealer, 5900 Highway 71 South, Fort Smith.
Corey Barron's Weathercast is certified by the National Weather Association.
So.
You're starting to sound more like Yugi every day.
I know. I can't help it. I am really not that interested in the weather this time of year.
Oh, what's the matter?
It's basketball, man.
Okay.
I mean, the Hogs were romping and stomping. I know K-State didn't fare well, but we won't talk about that. The Hogs were great. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, they were good.
It was perfect weather to watch them. Matter of fact, we had a call right before I came on the air. A guy said, you ought to rerun that game. I agree. Let's do it. We had a rerun today, too. We had wonderful weather. Partly cloudy, 53 degrees still in Fort Smith. Northeast winds at 6 in Fayetteville, partly cloudy, 54. Southeast winds at 8 miles per hour. And we had highs today, beautiful weather. This could use an instant replay, I think. 73 and 68 were the highs today. That's perfect in my department. And 36 and 30 were our lows. So we started out a little chilly. And across the two-state region at 9 o'clock, still some nice weather out there. 58 degrees in Tulsa, 61 in McAllister, 55 in Little Rock, with 53 degrees up in Harrison. But we were in the 70s and 60s around here today. A much different story up to the north. Cold, cold, cold weather. Fargo, North Dakota had 11 degrees this afternoon. That was their high. My gosh, different story down in the southwest. They were setting some records in some locations in the deserts. And then we also had some great weather down in Florida. Ocala, Florida had 90 degrees, but they also had some thunderstorms in the panhandle of Florida today throughout the southern sections of Alabama and Georgia. Those are starting to fizzle out. and it looks like that they'll end in just some light showers down in there, although Key West is having some good rains. And it continues to snow up in the northern plains. The snows are flying in the upper sections of lower Michigan and into upper Michigan as well, and through Milwaukee is getting a little snow at this time. But this is our big snowmaker out here in the Sierras. A lot of that is not being picked up, and they even have some winter storm watches out for tonight. These areas in the orange, those are warnings. So they're expecting up to 2 feet of snow in the higher elevations up above Lake Tahoe. This snow is heading in for Utah. The Wasatch, they think maybe 6 to 12 inches by tomorrow morning. So the snow is on its way for the ski resorts from the Sierras over into Utah. Maybe that'll hit Colorado and New Mexico. We don't expect any snow around here, but we do have that front up to the north of us. It's been dumping the snow on them to move on down. In the meantime, we have a high pressure out here to sea, pumping up moisture on us. Circulation around that high will bring in a lot of warm, moist air. The front will collide with that, and of course we have a chance for thunderstorms late tomorrow afternoon on into early Saturday, maybe even to Saturday afternoon. We might have some rain around here, unfortunately. So we may, because of this front, start our weekend out a little wet. Nice breezes out there tonight, and those breezes will keep our temperatures up because they're coming in from the south. Around 50 degrees for lows tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I'm not going to give you any cheap imitation Irish dialect tonight, but top of the morning to you. St. Patty's Day. And then for tomorrow afternoon, comfortable warmth with the clouds building because that front's starting to move in and the moisture's pumping in here. By tomorrow night, we may see some rains around here, and don't expect a lot of stars. The lows again right around 50. And on Saturday, a bit unsettled, 40% chance of thunder showers, 67 to 70 degrees. And then Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday will slowly, oh, ever so slowly warm back up. It looks like we're going to be entrenched in more normal type temperatures over the next 5 days after tomorrow. Tomorrow looks warm.
All right, good deal. Thank you, sir. Want to rent a movie this weekend? Our man Willie Stevens will have his picks of the week for you. Stay with us.
Grant your great wishes are small, but you wish a fourth one and you lose them all.
If you really want to stay on top of things, you can plan next year's income tax refund now. How?
Well, explain that one to me. I've never heard of anybody else that could do that.
Our planned refund program will help you do it.
H&R Block will analyze your taxes to plan next year's refund at the amount you choose.
If they can tell me ahead of time the changes, and, I would love it. I would love it.
Ask for the planned refund program only at H&R Block.
And plan your next year's refund now.
Okay, let's go for it.
Many lawnmower companies make quick start guarantees. But what about the rest of the mower? At Snapper, we guarantee more than quick starting. If you're not satisfied with your new Snapper's performance within 14 days of purchase, we'll refund your money.
Great, but I already bought Mr. Quick Start here.
Right now, Snapper dealers are offering great trade-in allowances. So now's the time to trade.
See Western Auto for all your Snapper needs or see your local Yellow Pages for the dealer nearest you.
There's a new name in GMC trucks. It's not a new model. It's the good old boys, the good old GMC truck boys. You'll be hearing a lot about them. Special values, excellent selection. Full-size, downsize, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. Truck buyers look for the name GMC Trucks and your local good old GMC truck boys. Bob Carver, Mena, Sahin, Clarksville, Lambert, Danville, Massey, Harris, Boonville, Frontier, Salisaw, and Broadway, Poto. These boys know trucks.
Honest value. That's what the new Massey Ferguson 300 series tractors are all about. Talk Perkins, transmission options, advanced Ferguson hydraulics, auxiliary hydraulics, 540 or 1000 PTO, hydrostatic steering, 2 or 4-wheel drive. They all resound honest value, and that means lasting value. See them at your Massey Ferguson dealer.
See Springdale Tractor in Springdale, Perrin Tractor in Ft.Smith, Sellers Equipment in Salem Springs, and Walden Tractor in Waldron.
Planning on renting a movie this week? Well, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, B98's morning man, Willie O. Stevens, has some good Irish picks of the week.
Hi, welcome to my place. I'm Willie Stevens from B98 Radio. We were going to watch a little TV, but there's nothing on but news. So let's just talk about movies for this week. St. Patrick's Day weekend. We've got the green here, green popcorn, a green drink, and good Irish movies. Here's John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara, one of the best movies ever made.
I don't get this. Why do we have to have you along? Back in the States, I'd drive up, honk the horn, the gal would come running out.
Come a-running? I know a woman to be honked at and come a-running.
America. Prohibition.
For my money, that's the best John Wayne movie ever made. I think you should see it. It's a great family movie, too. And if you want another good family movie for St. Patrick's Day, try Darby O'Gill and the Little People. They try to catch leprechauns and get their 3 wishes, but there's a catch. You have to play by the rules.
3 wishes I'll grant you, great wishes are small, but you wish a 4th one and you lose them all.
My wife hates it when I eat popcorn. Darby O'Gill and the Little People, also starring Sean Connery, but don't worry, it's a good family movie, no James Bond type action. But if you do want to see Sean Connery in some action, you can check out The Presidio. It's number 4 on the top 5 this week, and it also stars Mark Harmon.
You know what I'd like? I'd like you to resist arrest. Just a little. God, I'd really like that. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney.
Green Kool-Aid, nothing like it. The rest of the top 5 this week, according to Billboard magazine: Die Hard, Bull Durham, The Deadpool, and Young Guns. See a movie this weekend, and if you're looking for the classics I was telling you about, find them at Movieland. Happy St. Patrick's Day. For the late edition of the Newspeople, I'm Willie Stevens from B98.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Next in sports, a busy basketball day for Mr. Hughie. We'll have the latest playoff results, and Mike Irwin will have the latest on the victorious Hogs from Indianapolis. Stay with us.
This Easter season, you don't have to pay expensive florist prices for beautiful Easter lilies because your Safeway store is featuring glorious lilies in 6-inch pots for only $5.99. Each plant has 3 to 4 healthy blooms that will last and last. So much beauty to brighten your Easter holiday. Shop Safeway today for the very best selection, blooming Easter lilies, just $5.99 each. And be sure to ask about our special discounts for churches and civic organizations when you shop Safeway.
Here they come, the Ford Frontrunners, out in front in sales and value. Like the front-wheel drive Ford Taurus, the best-selling midsize car in America. Buy one specially equipped with air conditioning, power windows, power locks, power driver's seat, AM/FM cassette, speed control, rear window defroster, tilt steering wheel, and more. Retail price including cash back, just $13,901. And that's before you make your best deal. Ford Frontrunners. Hurry, see your Mid-South Ford dealer now.
What a ball game for those Hogs.
That's right, and I'm sure that they are getting ready for St. Patrick's Day by not worrying about the curfew and going right to bed after the game they had. The Arkansas Razorbacks, no doubt, sleeping very soundly and very nicely tonight. The Hogs met the run challenge of Loyola Marymount and won the showdown by 19 big ones. Mario credits set the tone for the game immediately by getting the game's first bucket. The consensus seems to be that Mario was overlooked scouting-wise after being booted out of 2 games in Dallas last week, but what a great game for the junior center. 24 points in the first half, a career-high 34 for the game, along with a dozen boards. Arkansas kept turning back Lion charges all afternoon. The last coming in the second half when Jeff Fryer hit the 3, was fouled, and hit the freebie for a 4-point play. But the Hogs then took charge for the final time in the contest. First, Todd Day hit a pair of buckets. Then, off the steal, Lee Mayberry made a pretty move to the hoop. Moments later, off the inbounds, Oliver Miller found a streaking Keith Wilson, who added the free throw for 3 more. Then Day hit again, 11 unanswered points, taking the score from 95-89 to 106-89, and Arkansas had claimed Nolan Richardson's first NCAA victory. like the old gunslinger staring down the latest quick draw artist at high noon on Main Street. So Arkansas did its part to try and make some NCAA bracket maker dream come true for an all-Arkansas second-round game. But as Mike Gerner reports, it will instead be a familiar NCAA foe for the Hogs.
It could have been Arkansas and UALR, but in the crunch, the Cardinals pulled away from Mike Newell's Trojans. The Razorbacks were watching. They fully intended to play the winner of today's first game here in Indianapolis, and now they will. So how do the Hogs and Cardinals match up?
I would think it's going to be a real contrasting style. Arkansas has good quickness and outside strength, and Louisville, especially when they go with their two bigger players, are much stronger inside. So I would think it would be a battle of the outside quickness versus the inside strength.
They got a good basketball teams, and it's too late to do any changing. And our theory is always just keep it simple. And we're going to stay simple and do the same things we've been doing all year.
Nolan Richardson says he knows one thing about Saturday's Arkansas-Louisville game. It will not look like the Loyola Marymount contest this afternoon. Expect fewer points and fewer turnovers. And oh yes, that pressing up-tempo Razorback defense will be back, the one the Hogs didn't need in today's track meet. At the Hoosier Dome, I'm Mike Irwin reporting for the Newspeople.
Thank you, sir. Arkansas 120-101 over Loyola Marymount. Louisville by 5 over UALR. Arkansas versus Louisville, 3:50 Saturday afternoon right here on TV5. Elsewhere in the Midwest, Illinois edged McNeese State and Pittsburgh and Ball State having a humdinger going down to the wire. Well, don't ask Oklahoma, East Tennessee State who. The Buccaneers nearly made OU walk the plank. Mookie Blaylock's baseline drive with 1:21 left gave Oklahoma its second lead of the game, and it turned out to be the difference. East Tennessee had a last-second shot at winning, but couldn't get a good shot. Hearts are still beating nervously in Soonerland, believe me. 72-71 the final for OU as they win it over East Tennessee State. Elsewhere in the Southeast Regional today, Louisiana Tech defeated LaSalle. It was Virginia holding off Providence 100-97, and early on Middle Tennessee State with a lead over Florida State. Having to play in front of fans for the first time in over a month didn't bother Siena's Mark Brown. He nailed a pair of free throws with 3 seconds left as the Saints upended 13th-ranked Stanford 80-78 in the East Regional. Brown finished with 32 points as Siena came out from under an on-campus measles-caused quarantine to pull off the upset. Elsewhere in the East, I'm sorry, Corey, there it is, Minnesota over Kansas State. Tonight, West Virginia defeated Tennessee rather handily, and in the second, Duke with a lead over South Carolina State. And out west, top-ranked Arizona had little trouble thumping Robert Morris. Sean Elliott with 3 of his 27 points from the corner, while Anthony Cook added 25 to them here as the Wildcats cruised to a 28-point halftime lead and then sent Robert Morris packing by 34-94-60 the final. Clemson defeated St. Mary's of California. The Running Rebels in Nevada, Las Vegas, and winner over Idaho. Memphis State and DePaul coming up in just a few minutes right here on TV5. 2 other Arkansas-based teams were in playoff action tonight. Tonight, a second-half rally fell short as Arkansas State fell to Nebraska 81-79 in the first-round NIT contest, while in Kansas City, Linnell Dawson had 23 as the Golden Sons of Arkansas Tech down Fresno Pacific 80-40 in an NAIA national tourney game. The quest for funding for repairs for Little Rock's War Memorial Stadium continues to face opposition in the Arkansas legislature. Today, the Arkansas House rejected an amendment that would have added $3 million to pay for repairs at the 41-year-old facility. Representative Doc Bryan of Russellville says if the state doesn't have the money for public schools and colleges, it shouldn't have money to repair stadiums. He suggested upping ticket prices to pay for the needed repairs. And over at Blue Ribbon Downs today, that's a nice payoff. The Exacta in the 4th race, 1 and 3, paid $27.34.40. Again, a reminder, Louisville and Arkansas, second-round NCAA action. Saturday afternoon, 3:50 here on TV5. Memphis State and DePaul coming up.
Ought to be a dandy, both of them.
Paul. He's got to get home. Yeah.
Thanks. We'll be back in a minute.
Up to $1,600 cash back. Low 4.9% financing. Get it now at Jim Ray Pontiac, your price break headquarters. Now get up to $500 cash back. Pay only $99.89 for an option-packed Grand Am. Just $99.89 buys Grand Am. Choose from over 200 Pontiacs in stock. Get up to $1,600 cash back or low 4.9% financing. Now at Jim Ray Pontiac, your price break headquarters.
That dock has been built with CCA from
Sutherlands, it'd still be standing, and I could share a lifetime of memories with my grandson. CCA-treated lumber. It's on sale now at Sutherlands.
Helping you build it better, Sutherlands.
This is fun.
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 In Ft.Smith, fun is Flip Peck Suzuki.
Flip Peck Suzuki, now open, and your source for fun in the sun.
With Sidekick or Samurai.
Take your pick, $89.95.
That's